At the orphanage where I lived, the older kids had to take care of the younger ones. I knew this was impossible from the start. 91, 92, 93, 94. Hey, why are you training? I don't think a detective needs to do this. I don't know anything about my parents. They were gone before I can remember. He died from my poison arrow. There's no other possibility. I'm telling you, this is the truth. But you keep getting in the way. But I won't run away from the truth anymore. I killed Kaito! It doesn't matter what you say, because I know what I saw. I saw Kokichi drink the antidote. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Huh? Why? Sorry. Why? Is this... Kaito! Kaito! Stop it! Stop it! Huh? I won't let you kill him. I won't let you kill him. This is the first time. Let's go. I will believe in myself. If it ends here, I can't let it end here. Do you look up to that idiot? I never realized until now how gross it is to hear men talk about being manly. Hey! You're the one who's screwing around. Do you want to die? She probably felt better after letting it all out, don't you think? 25, 26, 27, 28. Then you should train too. Me? What about me? What blood type do I like? Don't you mean, what's my blood type? Am I like a guinea pig to you guys? I grew up in an orphanage. Is that so? I told you. Jeez, what's the point? You bastard. You bastard. You bastard. Stop it. That's wrong. Shut up. Then, how annoying. What's wrong? No one else can do this. You're the only one who can do it, okay? Shall I kill that logic? I'll kill your logic. This is our answer. You're the one who's wrong. You're so goddamn annoying. What do you know? I was at the scene, so I know I'm not wrong. I'm sorry I kept quiet till now. I wanted to believe I didn't kill him. Like I'd know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sure, whatever. It's decided. It's decided. Oh yeah. Hey, got a minute? Weirdo. Stay away from me. What? What is it? No. I'm gonna be honest. You're annoying. But I guess we need people like you in the world. And if that happens, I guess I'll have to quit being an assassin. Maybe. They thought I was cosplaying that character. So I got dragged into a hall by a group of excited people with expensive cameras. They almost saw the weapons I had in my case. I'm happy, but I'm scared. I'm satisfied with so little, but at the same time, I want more. I don't understand. This is the first time I've ever felt this way. It's decided. It's decided. Because satisfied? I see. That's true. Oh yeah. Hey, got a minute? Well, by the way, what are you trying to pull? You don't know? You're a detective, weirdo. You. I don't understand. This is stupid. All right already. Okay. Kaede and the other two are still suspicious. That hasn't changed yet. They thought I was cosplaying that character. So I got dragged into a hall by a group of excited people with expensive cameras. They almost saw the weapons I had in my case. If they had, they would have found out my katana was actually real. This is definitely strange. When I think about you, when I hold your hand, when I touch you, I'm happy, but I'm scared. I'm satisfied with so little, but at the same time, I want more. I don't understand. This is the first time I've ever felt this way. Hey, Shuichi, there's still a lot I don't understand. But I'm certain about some things. I don't want to let you go. I'll stay by your side forever. Close enough to hold your hand. I want to cuddle. Just the two of us. If this is what families do, then I want to do that. That's what it means to love. Right? I don't want to lose anything. You, or this feeling. That's why I want you to promise me. Not just a marriage proposal, but something that lets me feel more. Maki Harukawa, ultimate child caregiver. Okay. That's right. That's true. No. Nope. I don't know. All 4 of us will abstain from voting, so you'll be the only one who survives. What? What do you mean? What's happening to Kibo? Kibo! Shuichi, you can change this world. Because you're Kaito's sidekick. Kibo? The 3 of us might be penalized for abstaining to vote, but what's going to happen to Kibo and Tsumugi? Then what about Tsumugi? If she had cast 1 vote for Kibo, then it would be a tie, but what? Hold it! Why are you punishing Kibo? If Kibo survives, then there's no need for him to be What? This is the worst possible ending. Kirumi, you went into that room too? You really don't need to be a detective to know that the knife came from the kitchen. Are you talking about the murder scene? Well, Kaede, did you? The murder scene was in yours and the other's room. Also, you were the first witness. If you don't have evidence to prove you're not the culprit, then you're still suspicious. If that's the case, that would be pretty suspicious. Of course a suspect would make that claim. Do you have any evidence? It seems that the culprit took the knife from Hiro and used it to kill him. Responding to an obvious lie with another obvious lie? I don't know about that. We haven't narrowed down the suspects at all. To end in despair? Suffering? Out of the 4 of us, only 2 can survive? Here? Together? Hope. I'll sacrifice myself. If Kibo and I sacrifice ourselves, then Shuichi and Himiko live, right? Then they can survive this absurd killing game. After listening to Kibo, I've decided I don't want this killing game to end with despair. That would just piss me off. Even then, I'll choose that ending if it means I can kill you. Even if I have to sacrifice my life. I will kill you. I'm sorry. I've already made up my mind. What? From within this fiction. But how? Abstain from voting? Believe in myself? Even if everything is fictional. I'll believe in my feelings. If I can't believe in my feelings, then my existence will have no meaning. If we can change reality, then we won't be just fiction. Our lives will have significance. And hopefully, my feelings will have significance too. Are you getting flustered? Your costume changes are less frequent now. I don't care about this fictional world. But it's still not possible! You found the classroom that makes all the flashback lights. Right, Shuichi? The memories from the flashback lights were just lies? Then the reason I tried to kill Kokichi was you were controlling our emotions? Even our resolve to defeat the mastermind? Is Junko Enoshima also fictional? Hold on. Then, Hope's Peak Academy doesn't exist? Danganronpa itself? But if it's fiction, if everything isn't real, then the world being in ruins is also fiction, right? The world outside is fine, right? What is this? Just like you? What are you saying? Our talents as well? Wasn't that you, Shuichi? Only in this world? What? What are you saying? You're telling us this is all a lie? Even my feelings? Are you saying even those were lies? Is that why you want the world to fall into despair? What's the matter? You can't argue back after hearing that. Then explain. Junko Enoshima is dead. She's not part of this killing game. But why? That face and that voice. It's just like... So, you're just a freak pretending to be Junko Enoshima, huh? Whatever it is. You're the actual mastermind of this killing game, right? So if we kill you, then that'll be the end, correct? She's bluffing. Let's just kill her and get it over with. Did Kokichi know about this? Wasn't he a remnant of despair? He was your comrade, right? The biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. This is the first time I've heard about this. Wasn't Junko the ultimate despair? Just shut up. They were held prisoner by the ultimate despair, and forced into the killing game. So the remnants of despair and the Future Foundation are still fighting. But for now, we've avoided the worst of it. Why would they shut themselves in? Are you saying our memories are wrong? Since Hope's Peak Academy was large, we were all in separate classes. But there's no doubt we were students of the new school. The new Hope's Peak Academy was a huge school, which is why we were all in different classes. Are you saying we're remembering it wrong? Then, which killing game did Rantaro participate in? He wasn't a remnant of despair? You mean, he wasn't a remnant of despair? That's not possible. So who took the monopad? Do you know anything else? Between the time Rentaro died and when we found him, they put that monopad in the hidden room? The camera has a 30-second interval between shots. That's enough time to take the monopad from the body. Then the mastermind was in the hidden room after they stole the monopad from Rentaro. Either way, you admit the mastermind stole the monopad, right? A different shot put ball? What do you mean? I see. The shot put ball you found in the hidden room had a pink fiber on it. Because it missed, we would have been annihilated due to the time limit. But the mastermind wanted to avoid that situation, so they took action. If Monokuma twisted the truth for this case, then he could have twisted it for the other cases as well, making this killing game unfair. That is, if Monokuma still wants to continue this class trial, it's possible the mastermind is still in this academy. The survivor perk said so. Younger twin sister? If it really is the same as the previous killing game, then Kaede would still be alive, and she could potentially be the mastermind. Someone we'd see every day. Like one of the 16 students? Wait. Even if it's one of the 16 students, it doesn't mean it's one of us, does it? So we just have to give our alibis again. Even if I was in the same basement, it's impossible for me to have killed Rentaro. Shuichi, didn't you investigate the girls' bathroom? Did you find anything? So, to enter the hidden room, they would need to use a different route, the girls' bathroom. And they also took the survivor perk monopad that Rentaro had, right? Tsumugi. What's the meaning of this? When the mastermind commands Mother Kuma to give birth, it makes a spare. Then refute it. We're waiting. I killed Kaito. There's absolutely no doubt. That's the truth. What? What are you talking about? Impossible. That's impossible. There is no other possibility. I killed Kaito! He pretended to drink it? Huh? There's more to talk about? That's what you said, isn't it? What do you mean, lie? Kaito! Monokuma said the blackened for that incident was Kaede. So what is this new truth? Ultimate survivor? Rentaro's objective? He found out about the hidden room with this map? If the mastermind ever needed to spare Monokuma, they would head to the hidden room. He didn't have any recollection of filming this message, right? That means he must have had trouble believing it as well. Then let's do it. Rentaro went to the library, just before Monokuma's time limit expired. The camera went off just before the incident, and only Rentaro was in the picture. I don't like the thought that I killed Kaito. I don't want that. Yes, please, the person in that video. Was it really Kaito? The hydraulic press stopped briefly? Right before it crushed the body? When you say someone, you mean Kokichi, right? He was the only one there, and if it was recorded at such an odd angle, then that proves a trick was used. Then, that logic is correct, right? Kokichi used that video angle trick and switched the victim in the hydraulic press. In that case, Kaito is... What? The other bodies are... gone? Then who did Kaito switch places with? What's wrong, Shuichi? Who did Kaito switch places with? Something important? I'm the culprit. There's just no way that Kaito can still be alive, because I'm the culprit. I saw it with my own eyes. Kokichi drank the antidote that he stole from Kaito. There's no doubt Kaito died. And he died because of my poison arrow. Yes, I never wanted to. I wanted to believe that I didn't kill him, but the truth speaks differently. In the end, I was just running away from the facts. There was only one antidote, so it's more likely he died from my poison arrow. This is the truth. It's not Kaito! I saw Kokichi drink the antidote! There's no mistake. Kaito is dead. I did attempt to enter the hangar, and I tried to destroy the control panel with my knife. At the time, the alarm system didn't go off. I'm not going to tell any more lies. Deactivate the safety function? All wrong. What? Right after I threw the antidote, I tried to open the shutter. So, Kaito should have still been alive. You don't know, do you? A murder Monokuma can figure out? Which means it wouldn't matter where the surveillance cameras were hidden. That reminds me. Before I stole an exasol, all 4 units were focused on Monokuma. That's why when I stole one to enter the hangar, the other 3 didn't pursue me. You're right. Well, Monokuma, And what is that truth? You really are a remnant of despair. Your way of thinking is just chaotic. Huh? What? It might be possible. There could be a trick to make the switch possible. We just haven't noticed it yet. Hey, Shuichi. I'll think harder about this as well. So, can you confirm whether or not the victim switched places? If Kaito is alive or not? I needed to give Kaito the antidote somehow. So I went to the bathroom window. Kaito, can you hear me? Quick, drink this antidote! After calling out to him, I chucked the antidote through the bathroom window. Kaito noticed it and grabbed the antidote, but Kokichi stole it from him. Wait! There's only one antidote! Stop! Class trial? I killed Kaito! Why did you protect Kokichi? If you didn't help him, then... What? What are you? But I refused to give up. I tried to enter the hangar by breaking the control panel with my knife. In the end, I couldn't. After that, I returned to the bathroom window once more, but I didn't see anyone. The bathroom door was closed. I called out, but neither Kaito nor Kokichi answered. I couldn't do anything anymore. All I could do was leave. That's when I made up my mind. As the Blackened who killed Kaito, I would kill Kokichi during this class trial, in exchange for all of your lives. How dare you make fun of him! You call yourself a friend? You enjoyed watching us suffer! You fucking asshole! A hidden truth? I was too focused to notice at the time. But now that you mention it, it is odd. Then why didn't the alarm go off? Kokichi immediately took out his remote and attempted to control the exasol I was in. I jumped out of the exasol before he could, and shot Kokichi in the back with an arrow. That should have been enough to stop him, since the arrow was coated with poison. I wanted Kokichi to confess his true intentions before he died, and find out why he was always lying and trying to confuse us. If he was the mastermind, it would have been easier for him to hide in the shadows, right? He could have made it seem as if the late Junko was secretly behind this killing game. That way, he could reveal himself as the surprise mastermind to liven up the game. Because of his suspicious actions, anyone would already suspect him as the mastermind, especially with that message in the courtyard. Kokichi said it was a hint, but was it necessary for him to go out of his way just for a hint? I think that if he wanted the thrill, he would have carried out the plan carefully, so when his carefully laid out plan goes to waste, he would be in utter despair. But it was pointless. I was a fool for thinking I could have a serious talk with him. Shut up, you asshole! I realized it was pointless to continue the conversation, so I shot the final arrow. But then, what? At that moment, my mind went blank. I knew I had to do something about the poison. I rushed to Shuichi's research lab for the antidote. I used strychnine poison to torture Kokichi for info, but I planned to kill him from the start. But that was my first mistake. Because of that, I ended up killing Kaito. When I returned with the antidote, the hangar shutter had been closed. I assumed it was Kokichi's doing. But because of that, I couldn't enter the hangar anymore. Because the crossbow was not the murder weapon. The arrows left holes in their clothes. Think about the locations of the wounds. They were on his arm and back. An arrow to each of those spots wouldn't result in a fatal injury. That's why the crossbow can't be the murder weapon. Therefore, I'm not the culprit. So Kaito said that to you. Then, does that mean you guys made up before he died? I see. Okay, I'll talk about it. Especially since it's my responsibility for involving everyone. Shuichi, you're so persistent. Were you always like that? That guy could be pretty stubborn. The flashback light became the motive. When Kokichi remembered that he was a remnant of despair, I planned to kill him. I thought that if I killed him, this game, and the battle between hope and despair, would end. I was confident in my talent as an assassin. I knew I would be able to do it. We were naive. That's what I thought. I knew Kokichi would take advantage of my naivete. Simply because it's him. That's why. I needed to settle it myself. I took the poison arrows and the crossbow and broke into the hangar with an exasol. But when I entered the hangar, I saw something I never expected. Kaito and Kokichi were fighting each other. Kokichi was shot in the arm with a crossbow arrow. Probably by Kaito when he fought back. Both of them stopped and looked at the exasol, most likely surprised by its sudden appearance. The exasol's hatch has an electronic lock, so it can't be opened from the outside. Yes, you can't open the hatch from the outside. It's impossible to get into the cockpit. Satisfied now? Because I checked it during the investigation. Just you? I see. If that's the case, then you lied just to confirm if I knew about the electronic lock. When Monokuma explained it to you, I just happened to overhear it, that's all. So annoying. Do you want to die? You're the one who's lying. Either way, there's an electronic lock so you can't open the hatch from the outside. Because of that, no one could have entered the hangar piloting an exasol. What are you saying? Why are you doing this? Why are you getting in my way? Yes, I'm the third party. I admit to going into the hangar with an exasol, and then shooting the crossbow, but I didn't kill anyone. I'm not the culprit! You're right. I used the electrohammer, and I used the exasol to enter the hangar too. I also shot the crossbow there. However, I am not the culprit. Don't ever call me that! Anyone who knows about Kaito's injury can make that claim. Did you watch the footage? Kaito was the one who got crushed. The mastermind is still alive. Inside that exasol. You're still an asshole. Fine, but only one crossbow was taken. The other two are still in my research lab. That's just a guess, though. There's no way a third party exists. Impossible. There was an alarm system and an electric barrier around the hangar. I told you that's impossible. There's no way you can get through security if you pilot an exasol. It's not possible. That's not possible. Do we even know how to get inside an exasol? Outside the hangar there were 4 exasols, and they were all moving too. There's no way to stop an exasol, so getting inside one would have been impossible. But that's reckless, absurd, and useless. Jump inside a moving exasol? That's not really possible. What? Are you implying that it's Stop this pointless conversation, Shuichi. If you want to say something, say it already. Impossible. If I could do that, I would have turned the exasol into scrap on the first day. Stop messing around. Are you telling me to prove something I can't do? Do you really suspect me that much? Fine then. I'll explain. There was another problem that doesn't involve my talent. You said earlier that the hatch doesn't have a lock, but that's incorrect. The shot would need to be fired from inside the hangar to hit Kaito. It seems Shuichi wants to make one of us the culprit. Is that it? Is that what a detective does? Do detectives always accuse people, even when they're friends? It seems like it. You suspected Kaito in the previous class trial too. You're always suspicious of your friends. Of course I am. When we said we would defeat the remnants of despair, someone got in our way. It doesn't matter how much you get in my way. I will absolutely defeat Kokichi. I won't let despair escape. I won't let it win. What? Why am I a suspect? Anyone could have entered my research lab. There is no way I'm the culprit. Why am I being treated like the culprit? The crossbow at the crime scene did not come from me. Kokichi did, of course. That's the crossbow case. Fine. I'm not going to lie. I didn't teach Himiko how to assemble the crossbow. She couldn't have used it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened in between. In the end, Kokichi killed Kaito. Then let's hurry up and vote. Who cares about that? We already know who the culprit is. Huh? What are you saying? We already finished that discussion a while ago. Don't be stupid. How many times are you going to be tricked by him? That's Kokichi pretending to be Kaito. Stop getting in my way. I have to defeat Kokichi. Monokuma, hurry up and bring Kokichi here. We already know who the victim is. Kaito? I thought as much. Your appearance right now is fit for a lowly asshole like you. That's fine. We knew from the very start that Kokichi was the killer. But before we vote, I want to say something to Kokichi. You may be the mastermind, but I won't let you escape after you violated the rules. That would desecrate the killing game Junko Enoshima created, right? Your beloved Junko Enoshima. Trap us. Are you saying Kokichi isn't the culprit? Then, are you suggesting one of us is the culprit? It's fine. Because Kokichi is the culprit. He killed Kaito. No matter how much he deceives us, it won't change our minds. The footage shows he did it. Kokichi has to be the only option. There's no doubt that Kokichi is the culprit. We all saw that footage from earlier, right? Which just leaves Kokichi then. Kokichi Oma, the mastermind of this entire killing game. And Kaito's killer. Isn't this enough? Kokichi is the culprit. He brought the evidence and even confessed to the murder. But you could disable the infrared sensor of the safety function with an electro bomb. Also, we don't have any evidence of a different murder method other than the hydraulic What? If the bloodstain even was Kaito's, we only guess that Kaito was killed in the bathroom. Since his body was crushed, we'll never know if Kaito died some other way. There was a wall along the y-axis, and the x-axis came around in a loop. Yeah, somehow. We made it. Hey, how were we saved? Why are we still alive? We didn't think of a plan for what to do after. I thought that was the end of us back there. Then, we need to see for ourselves whether this fictional world has changed the outside world, and what we can do from this point on. What happened to Kokichi? Why isn't he here? How long are you going to say that? The victim is Kaito. End of discussion. Kokichi can't be the victim because there's no evidence for it, so the victim must be Kaito. What about it? Kaito's clothes were in the hydraulic press. As long as we have that evidence, there's no doubt that Kaito was the one murdered. You're dumber than I thought if I have to go out of my way to explain it to you. If you can't even see that, then be quiet. Otherwise, you're just annoying me. The coat sleeve sticking out of the hydraulic press is rather telling. It couldn't have been anyone else, but Kaito. If you can't see that, then you weren't looking hard enough. He always dressed himself in a rather odd manner. He never put his arms through his coat sleeves. So when the hydraulic press crushed him, all that stuck out was his coat sleeve. If you understand, then be quiet already. Otherwise, you're getting in the way. Then maybe neither of his arms were through the sleeves. It's a possibility. In the end, your reasoning is full of holes. She was killed on the roof, right? Kokichi told us the roof door was locked and that he couldn't get through. That wouldn't happen. Then you're saying the culprit sent Miu's avatar through that wall? But the avatars can generate friction. We wouldn't have been able to walk otherwise. So I doubt that it would have had that much momentum. Even if her avatar slid off the roof, would it slide off that quickly? You could use it to slide the body, but the signboard we used as a bridge was the only one. The culprit couldn't have used that signboard as a sled. You could probably see the steep slope of the roof from outside the mansion, but you wouldn't know about the brick handrail unless you went up to the roof yourself. How much longer are you going to behave like this? The one who's not Kokichi. Isn't that where he met up with Miu? I'm fine with that, but you're confessing without much of a fight. There's already proof, but if you can't be touched while you're wrapping the toilet paper around her neck, then it would be impossible. There's no doubt Miu was strangled. We already discussed this. So we're gonna do that again? Could Gonta have even made it to the rooftop without being noticed? Quit it. If you don't shut your mouth, then I'll shut it for you. Permanently. That's a weak argument. Is the person who planned it also included as a blackened with the perpetrator? You'd have to go through the entrance hall to get outside the mansion from the roof. Is that where Shuichi and Tsumugi ran to when they heard the crashing sound? If we don't find the culprit, then we'll all die, you know that? You were meeting with Miu, but she ended up as the victim. So it's only natural for us to think you're the killer, right? But was the door to the roof actually locked? When I was on the roof before logging out, the door wasn't locked. How would she have gotten to the mansion? There was no bridge over the river. So, what secret method did she use? A way across that only Miu knew about. Which means, the virtual world treated her avatar as an object. She could have passed through a wall that only non-humans could go through. She probably lied. There would be no point in going if there was nothing on the other side. Miu wouldn't have done something meaningless. She would have had a plan. What? That is pretty strange. The signboard should have been near the chapel, but we found it on the other side. A wall only objects can pass through. Sounds that shouldn't be heard. A signboard going against the river current. How are they all connected? I see. It's a wall only non-humans can pass through. That means the signboard can pass through the wall, right? Then what about the wall? There was only one wall that could be passed through. The virtual world loops? What was the world like before Miu added the wall? So the wall Miu created wasn't at the edges of the world, but rather, her wall was at the center of the world. But the structure of the world wasn't actually like that. There was a wall along the y-axis, and the x-axis came around in a loop. We understand Miu plotted the murder, but we need to find out who killed her. She would make the murder seem like it happened in the real world, and then pin it on Kaito. Are you saying she chose the middle room by pure coincidence? If the culprit set traps in all the rooms, then they wouldn't need to select a room themselves. What are you talking about? Did you figure it out? Not anymore. The magic circle is a complete mess from being trampled on. He was planning to use the new rule to protect himself all along. That bloodstain was too far from Tenko's corpse to have been hers. Just because we found her body there doesn't mean she was killed there. That's right. Shuichi and I only checked under the floorboards where Tenko died. It was under the body. It's most likely evidence the culprit should have gotten rid of. But since it was hidden, the culprit didn't notice and failed to dispose of it. Now we know most of the mystery behind Angie's murder. If the weapon used to hit Angie is the floorboard from the Seesaw trick, all you can do now is accept it. You even confessed to Tenko's murder already. Probably a diversion. The culprit wanted us to think Mew died by poison. If you don't understand, then don't say anything. Are we certain that blunt force was involved? I think strangulation is more likely. Yeah, definitely. Strangling and poison are the only methods that can make her look like she suffocated. But we already removed the possibility of poison, so it can only be strangulation. Also, when a victim is poisoned, they commonly grab their chest or mouth. But Mew was holding her throat. It's obvious she was trying to protect her windpipe. Then the culprit would need a tool. There are tons of cases where a weaker person would strangle a stronger person with a rope. No, the culprit didn't bring the hammer. If she logged in last, she would have had time to move around in the real world after the previous person logged in. But Mew never mentioned a cell phone, right? So that's why she decided to attempt a murder, because she had total control. How long are you guys going to argue? Let's hurry this up and continue. Wouldn't the light have shined through the gaps of the floorboard if it had been this bright? It would have been difficult to move around under the floor in that pitch-black darkness. Maybe the floor and the hole have nothing to do with this case. Her corpse didn't have any trace of glowing paint, though. Stop that now. I agree with Kaito. The culprit could have been inside the cage. Maybe the culprit wouldn't need to hide in the first place. Also, the culprit could have killed her in the cage at any time. I think you know what I'm getting at, right? She committed suicide. If she committed suicide, it would explain a lot of things we couldn't figure out. She volunteered to be in the cage and then stabbed herself during the seance. It wouldn't matter how dark the room was. Just because you're acting all cool doesn't mean you get to skip training. But if Tenko did commit suicide, that would answer all of our questions. Is there a reason? So far, suicide seems to be the best explanation. You're right. I completely forgot about that important detail. Tenko died instantly. As an assassin, I specialize in killing my targets swiftly. I have no doubt that Tenko was killed immediately. Excuse me? If the impact was that intense, then it could have loosened the floorboard. Her whole body lifted up? The 6-inch sickle blade wasn't long enough to stab Tenko in her crouch position, but with the floorboard acting as a seesaw, it could compensate for the blade's length. Are you even listening? Himiko's a little slow, so I don't think she's capable of handling a complicated crime. Even if Himiko did choose an empty room because of what Kyo said. I can't believe you didn't notice that. I guess that's why you're still an apprentice. First, let's establish the crime scene. Scratch marks on the sink? Because Ryoma was wearing them, right? The culprit must have used some kind of equipment. With this equipment, they can connect the two windows and move the body to the gym. Shut up. You're just pushing everything onto Shuichi because you don't know yourself. The trick relied on complex mechanisms to work, but someone like you could be skilled enough to pull it off. I see. So among the four, the only one with a room on the first floor of the dorms is someone who isn't here? So, it's decided. Say something, Shuichi. It'll be a mess if this keeps going on. There's no way that could happen, idiots. Monokuma is trying to confuse us. Let's hurry up and find out who the Blackened is. Why? It's not that far-fetched. So you're going to pretend you don't remember, huh? So the gold leaf was on the sliding lock because even if the culprit failed the first couple times, they could keep trying until it locked. Yes, since the student council prohibited anyone from walking around at nighttime. I didn't say that. The culprit couldn't find a blade long enough in my lab, so they settled for the katana. Why did you say you were the culprit? It's fine. That's just a waste of time. Why are you trying to lead the debate? You're a suspect too. Don't listen to his crap. We haven't decided whether there were two different culprits yet. If the culprit used the hole, they could have entered and exited the seance room. What? So I just have to turn it around, right? It's not like I owe that idiot a favor or anything just because he defended me. But that hopeless idiot may have encouraged me a bit. I didn't want to say anything, but I can't stay silent forever. So I'll tell you. I met up with Ryoma during nighttime yesterday. But that's wrong, because I met up with Ryoma during nighttime. It must have been a little after midnight last night. He visited me at my research lab. He wanted me to show him the motive video that I received. Maybe. I actually didn't check the one I got, so I wouldn't know. I told Ryoma just to take it from my room. I keep my room unlocked. I don't know what happened after that. I'm not even sure if he saw his motive video. When he asked me, he said that he would show me my motive video in return. But I wasn't interested, so I declined. And that's pretty much it. It's true. I didn't say anything until now because I wasn't in the mood to be suspected. Kirumi said it earlier. It seems that Ryoma and I had each other's motive videos. That's pretty fishy, right? So I didn't want to mention it to avoid suspicion. You said it earlier. I don't want to die, right? If you really don't want to die, then you better tell us the truth. So you still suspect me? I'm not lying. I did meet up with Ryoma during nighttime. I'm telling the truth. I met with Ryoma the previous night. Yes, I didn't meet with anyone else. Entering the pool at night's what's off limits, not the pool area itself. I don't think it really matters how the body got into the piranha tank. We're getting sidetracked. It doesn't matter how it was done, just who did it. We shouldn't focus on where we found the body. Instead, we need to focus on where he was killed. Wouldn't it be more efficient if we focused on the murder scene instead? I'm asking if you two were on lookout together the whole time. Shuichi is the only person here who's suspicious. More phenomenal trial grounds? Shuichi and Kaede weren't together the whole time, were they? A mistake, maybe? Then accusing you of being the culprit is... I see. That air duct connects the classroom to the library. Then that means all of this happened right in front of Shuichi. Oh, stop it. If you don't reveal your trick now, then we'll vote you as the culprit. But if that trick was actual magic, then I'm more inclined to believe she's the culprit. Shut up. Maybe the tank had a secret hatch. I see. So it did have one. So I was correct. No one was in there? Impossible. You'd need top-notch visual effects to pull that off. A certain something? I was in my research lab the whole time. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't run into anyone. I was in my research lab the whole time. If you called Ryoma out to the gym and killed him there, you wouldn't need to move him. All you would have to do is hide him in the piranha tank. A girl walking around half naked? And how do you expect us to start this? And what about that? Just because Ryoma had my motive video, that doesn't make me the culprit. Excuse me? What? You what? The ultimate despair. Junko Enoshima. In order to fulfill her plans to plunge humanity and the world into utter despair, she organized the killing game of Hope's Peak Academy's 78th class, trapped by the ultimate despair. The 78th class was forced to participate in the killing game, but in the end, Junko Enoshima died at the hands of the very killing game she masterminded. With her death, the despair outbreaks ended, and the world slowly began to recover. But the remnants of despair continued to carry out Junko's legacy of despair. The Future Foundation was established to fight against them, and their war raged on, until one day, when the war suddenly ended. It was later rebuilt by former members of the Future Foundation and resumed operations. They continued to scout students who possessed ultimate-level talent. And that's all we know. Also, if the mastermind had died there, this killing game would have already ended. Why are you surprised? So we know that Kirumi, Tsumugi, Miu, and Kyo can't be the culprit. Stop being so stupid. The culprit could easily be anyone, like Kaito. I only went 'cause I was invited. Why don't you ask the shady guy who invited me? All you've proven is that you're an idiot. That idiot already forgot. Gonta also left during the strategy meeting. The way this debate is going, this will be difficult to refute. We know the murder weapon is the shot put ball. But where did the culprit get it? The only ones who didn't go to the dining hall or basement are. How about the vent in the library? Maybe they came in through there. What is that? Shuichi. Say something already. Were you really together the whole time? If I couldn't keep up as an assassin, the orphanage would no longer receive funding. And then, I wouldn't have a purpose in life anymore. Training was difficult. I vomited every day, and cried every night. But after vomiting and crying over and over again, my heart gradually became empty. Eventually, I got used to it. It was the same after my first job. For a while, I couldn't eat or sleep. But after doing this for such a long time, I felt numb. There were times I wondered why I had to kill these strangers. But I eventually stopped thinking about that. I adapted to the lifestyle of killing people, of stealing their lives, and of being a horrible person. Even to this day, I think the same thing after I finish a mission. What would I have been like if I stayed at the orphanage? I still think about that all the time. So then, which chords to which ports? Alter ego? Kaito? Put this and this together, and then put that other part in the opposite way. Wait, that's wrong. Then next it's... Is that a bomb? Tell us the truth. What are you scheming? If you don't tell us the truth, then I'll break you. They were the remnants of despair. It all began at Hope's Peak Academy, the biggest, most awful, most tragic event in human history. The world was plunged into ruin, and humanity into the depths of despair. This tragic event was caused by a lone high school girl. Because of that, I started looking after the younger ones. For some reason, kids like me, but I'm not particularly fond of taking care of them. Ever since that day, I trained to become an assassin. I think I had some natural talent to begin with, but I worked incredibly hard as well.